which I still need to change all the names over because it still says Japanimir. I don't know why it won't change. It's being,
Just self-branding himself here.
it's all about me. Me,
Yeah,
guys.
well,
It's
I
all
like
about
TikTok,
me.
well, I
I'm the
put
best thing that's ever happened to TikTok.
you-
But no, real talk though. Everybody, welcome back. Welcome Delta back, actually. We have been man down for the past 2 weeks waiting on Delta to come back. He's been on a secret mission. He's been making you guys video games, but he's been on a secret mission, okay, to bring you happiness and joy and everything that we expect to get out of games, and we're glad to have him back on the panel. Welcome back, Delta, and welcome back to Spawn Point Sessions. Here we are, fictional podcast and anime and gaming channel. We are about to get into some cool news because we have two of our hosts who have played some new games that dropped this week. I've been like neck deep in Monster Hunter. I just can't pull myself
yes,
off
you
of
have.
it. So
Same.
I'm glad I have these two other people who are with me on this journey because they play other games and I get lost in some of them. So without further ado, let's start with PJ because we gotta talk about some anime stuff. And I heard that you've been playing the new Bleach game.
Yes, I have been playing Bleach: Rebirth of Souls. It is a good game. I'm not particularly fond of arena fighters, but as an arena fighter, as Bleach, it is a good game.
So with that being said, like the first game that comes to mind that I would want to compare it to would be something like like Xenoverse or something like that.
You can in a way, yeah, but for me, it's more like if people play the Demon Slayer game that came out, or the closest that everybody will remember is Ultimate Ninja Storm or Ultimate Ninja. That's the closest to arena fighters it'll get. It is great, and it's basic. As the game just came out, literally within the past week, I think, if not that long, not even that long. The game has great mechanics. It's detailed to the fault of the characters themselves. But overall, you got three different basic players. You got Speed, the Quincy's, the Soul Reapers, Fullbringers, or the Visors, I should say. And it's just going through the unrock part era right now where Aizen betrayed everybody. Boo 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 boo.
Okay, so is it
first season?
Is it going all the way up to Yuha Bach or whatever his name is?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay, not yet.
Yeah,
but
no,
okay,
no.
so that seems to be
the Soul Society.
Oh wow, okay.
The Soul Society arc where it's just Aizen goes over to Waco Mundo.
Okay. And so like
that's where it stops at.
So like mechanically, is it pretty smooth? Like, are there?
It is smooth.
Okay.
It is smooth. There will be some updates later on because there's little kinks, and I've seen everybody already starting to complain about a few players that are overpowered.
Oh, like who? Who's overpowered?
One for sure is Mayuri, which is the technological. I think I forgot which squad captain. 11? No, not 11. 12 or no? I forgot. The science guy.
Oh wait, the science guy who looks like he's in like a black mask looking thing. Yeah, of course he's OP. He should be OP.
He's overpowered. He's woof.
Yeah.
And a couple of the Arankars are overpowered, but if you know how to play, you can beat anybody.
That's true.
I think what a game does is make everybody as realistically close to each other as possible, and of course, they're all gonna be overpowered in their own way. Should be, but
Okay. Have you encountered anything in the game that like you feel like they could have done better? I know it just released, but is there anything that you're like, man, this is not good? Not necessarily like a character being too broken or anything like that, but like a mechanic or feature, anything like that.
No, not too much.
Okay, good.
For an arena fighter, it is as best that I could describe a arena fighter could get.
Okay. Wow, that's high praise.
Yeah, so it is a very good game. I do highly recommend it for those who play arena fighters. Now, keep in mind, I'm not an arena fighter player through and through, but it is a good sit down, play against your friends,
Okay.
chill mode type of game.
Is it? Does it
What?
have
Oh,
couch? Does it have couch play? Like two people on the same
Local
console?
co-op, offline co-op.
I do believe it does.
Hey, was that
I
a
don't-
subscription? Was that a follow? Hey, let's go, Blurred, with the subscription to YouTube. Hey.
I do have a problem. It is the create a room. You can, as far as we know, you can only have two people in a room.
Oh, that's
And
kind of
so,
lame.
Yeah, so you can't fight more than one person unless everybody creates a new room, and you got to keep putting in different rooms. Somebody leaves, starts a new one.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah, because like I
would
think
say-
Tekken's got a lot of people spoiled on that.
Yeah, Tekken does have a lot of us spoiled where you can have when there's 18 to 20 people in a room just ready
All
to
they got to
fight
do
at
is
all
jump on the
times.
arcade machine. Like that was such a
And
cool
then-
feature in Tekken.
It was, and then even if you're going straight against each other, you have different blocks you can separate it off to. So you got A, B, C, D, E blocks. So Tekken has also spoiled us with that. So,
Yeah. Okay, so
But-
overall, like, what would you rate it?
I would give it a solid 7.5 out of 10.
Okay, I mean that's not
So,
bad. That's I mean that's
Yeah,
I mean and for an anime game,
Yeah, for
that's
an
really
anime
that's
game.
really good.
for an anime game, for an arena fighter, for my basis of dealing with arena fighters before, it's a good 7.5 out of 10.
Hey Nicolette, thank you for the tiny diny. I appreciate that.
So, but other than that, I'm enjoying it. It is a smooth way away from all the sweatiest games you can ever think of that we've been playing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what's up. Because like
I
here's
am-
oh you go Delta.
I was gonna say I am so out of my depth here. Like I don't want nothing. I am completely useless when it comes to fighters. I think the last one-on-one fighter I actually played was like Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube.
Yeesh.
Like other than that though, like I mean, Amir brought it up at the very beginning. I think my I guess my heretical opinion is that Dragon Ball Xenoverse might be one of the greatest Dragon Ball games ever made.
Man, I'm a
in
huge
fighting,
Xenoverse
because, like,
fan.
it was one of those games that like anyone you can put me like I love Budokai. I guess I played Budokai 2 and 3, which was after Soul Calibur, but all I ever wanted to do as a kid watching Dragon Ball Z was get in there and fight with everyone, you know? And I got to make my own character and then just take everyone's best moves. I got to be the chubby kid on the playground that his power was to have all powers. I got to do whatever the hell I wanted.
Exactly.
You know? And that was all I ever really wanted with that.
I like that
I
South
think-
Park reference too.
I mean, that's it though. Like it's boring in practice, but when you're just like it's typically boring. But like they made this thing where it's like all of you like, and so many of the characters were just like it was Goku, but he was black. You know,
Yeah,
it was
like
just
you
I always wanted to be Goku, but black, and it's like you know what?
now you can.
Pop off
And you-
it's like
Yeah.
And that's my biggest thing with why I don't play a lot of anime style video or anime or video games that are based on animes or anime video games. Like for example, Solo Leveling has a video game, and Solo Leveling, the universe of Solo Leveling is so cool. Like I think it's dope. I like this. I like the systems. I like the magic. I like the way all that works. But why am I playing as Hunter Sung, the main character, when I could make my own character and we could be doing? We could be. It's like the whole show is set up like an MMO. It's not an MMO, but it's like that. So you could make it work. It doesn't have to be an MMO. It could still be like
In
a
a
dungeon
narrative
crawler.
sense.
But
I
like,
haven't watched it, so in a narrative sense, what you've said about it being like an MMO, that does make sense.
yeah,
But like for 90% anime stuff, it's about the character roster. Like,
And that's
it's about
very
all the
true.
characters you come across because like think about like I mean, if you tried to make a One Piece MMO,
mhm.
that would be ridiculous because you would get like they would have to like basically finagle a devil fruit that lets you pick whatever the hell you want because otherwise the whole lore of that universe is only one of these devil fruits exists at a time. When the user dies, it shows up in another world. So if you decide, hey,
Yeah.
I want to have Luffy's Gum Gum powers, that means you have to canonically kill Luffy within the game. Like, Luffy's dead at this
Yeah.
point, and you have Gum Gum powers.
Of
Or
course.
you're going to do that. that bullshit thing where it's like, oh, what? How do you have those same powers? That's so weird.
As the
Wow, we'll
great
include you.
I will say I do agree with some games like that, or like with the story like One Piece. I can get it, right? But here's my counter to that, right? And this is my pushback on it. Have you guys ever played the Attack on Titan video game?
I've never even seen Attack on
I've
Titan.
never seen
You-
Attack on Titan.
Yo, what? Oh, okay,
Oh,
video
man.
game.
There it is.
Video game. I've seen this.
Okay.
I've seen that.
Either way,
Oh, okay.
either way, Attack on Titan, right? The video game, especially
know that.
Attack on Titan, the video game too. So the second one. In the second one, you get to create, because that's the only one I've played. You get to create your own character, right? And you get to play as a member of the Scouts team with Eren Yeager and all of them, and you go through the entire story, right? But you're like a side character. You're still experiencing all the main stories that are happening throughout the anime. You still get all of that, but you also get some new kind of stuff that like you're working on with like I forget her name, the one with the glasses. But you work with her and the rest of the science department. You're trying to figure out new ways to figure out how these Titans work and stuff like that. So you're still very heavily involved, and even like you show up as like a character that Eren even trusts. So it's like it's really cool because you get to be a part of the anime universe without having to just be in the role of the main characters that we've already seen.
But to that point, how many of the characters are actually like hyper diverse from each other? So like in Dragon Ball, you've got all of these characters have special techniques, secret powers, all this different stuff. One Piece, everyone's got different devil fruits and a different shtick. From what I've seen of, and very, very little, and so you can absolutely clap back on this, but like from what I've seen of Attack on Titan, like the diversity is in like the person, but it's not actually in what they do. So like everyone's got the suit,
Yeah,
and the same kind of stuff.
Like I
but
said,
it's
if-
actually not.
it fits.
Yeah.
It fits better, But like just like you said in Dragon Ball Z, you got all these people. It's the same thing there. That's just the way I look at it in some of these universes. Now, like I
Because,
said,
like,
One Piece.
Something like Attack on Titan sounds like it's better suited for what you're talking
Right.
about, where you can just put someone in a suit and have them involved.
Mhm.
Whereas, like, I wouldn't want to play a game where I was just Krillin.
No, I
Or,
feel
like-
you.
like,
I feel that.
I would want to be like I loved having Destructo Disc, but I wouldn't just want to be Krillin.
No, I got you. And that's what made the Xenoverse game so good. Because you could learn all these other techniques, and that's why
I
it
want
would.
another one.
Yeah, that's why it would work with like a Dragon Ball universe. It works because like Goku can't teach you how to do a Kamehameha. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't learn all these other things. You can't power up. You can't train. You can't get stronger. You can do all of that in those universes. So it works. And I'm just saying. One Piece, that's definitely a difficult one to do because of how the power system works, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't expect it out of a game like that. But there's a lot of them. Like Sword Art Online. Why are we playing as Kirito?
I mean, Sword Art Online's a terrible example because it's just a video game anyway.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So why am I playing as the same people in the anime?
That's just
Right, yeah.
like the whole fantasy is that you can be whatever you want in this world. Like why the hell would you why would you put yourself in the body of someone who's in the body of another character?
Exactly. It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Hold on. I got something to throw in there.
Okay.
Oh no.
Speaking of Sword Art Online, I've also been watching Shangri-La Frontier. I want to know what are y'all thoughts on the thought of full dive video games?
Full dive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They put on the visors and there.
Oh, you mean like the actual like
The
a VR
machine.
type thing, or like the
Yes.
concept?
The actual VR thing that they do in the anime where they
Okay, so like,
where you're full dive into it.
yeah, I mean, I'm not a
Like a
necessarily.
Matrix
Oh, sorry, my bad.
kind of like a Matrix kind of thing where you plug into the chair, or like a
No,
like a
it's
VR arena type thing.
It's so basically it's you put on a visor or they have their own stuff. It's like its own console basically.
Yeah.
So it is you put it on and you basically closing your eyes and basically your mind you're controlling the game with your mind. It's virtual reality.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah. It is a little Matrixy, but yeah. it's the
Yeah.
Same point. Actually, so this is great because I was thinking about whether or not I wanted to bring it up when we brought up full Sword Art Online because I've got a bit of a vendetta against
Bring it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up some drama here. So when I was doing my game design degree, we had a research paper that we were gonna write, where it was a research paper. Where it was also just kind of a discussion piece kind of thing, where the prompt was like, where do you think video games will be in 50 years as opposed to where do you want them to be in 50 years? And the reason I've got a bit of a vendetta is the school that I went to, the first like 4 courses of that school are free. So the first 4 classes are hundreds of people large, you know.
Right.
So but I legitimately read through about 250 essays that just talked about Sword Art Online, about how they want to be able to plug into a chair and go into the world and do whatever they want, right? And that drives me insane because I just had to read it all the time. But my big thing was I said I wanted Star Trek's holodecks more. Because the thing is like I don't know, did you any of you guys see
I watched the Orville. That's the closest thing I've gotten to Star Trek.
No, not the Star Trek. The movie with Bruce Willis where everyone was plugging into. It was called Surrogates.
Yes,
think,
Surrogates.
Yeah.
I did see that. I did see.
Do you remember the
Surrogates.
very beginning? That woman gets murdered, and then they go to the person's house who was operating it, and it was like an 800-pound man fried through, like bleeding out of his ears.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like that will 100% be me if your ass makes something where I can sit in a fucking chair and play a video game. I will die for lack of motor movement. In Star Trek, the holodeck thing was brilliant because you control it, but you're walking around. Like the room is keeping you in place the entire time. You're not aware of it though. It's making these hard like constructs. Like you're interacting with people. Like it'll replicate the food and stuff, and you can eat, and it's like all that. The idea of like having this open world where I can do whatever the hell I want, but
like
I can add whatever fantasy science. Yeah, exactly. Lucid, like it's not reality, but it's just far enough that I feel more driven to physically do things, and I can walk away from a session in that having actually burned some fucking calories. That sounds awesome to me.
I mean,
like,
that does sound
I'm out
cool.
of shape, man. If I was going to go into an immersive like holodeck Monster Hunter, I would legit run out of stamina as fast as those fucking characters do. I would fall over like I'm gonna vomit. It'd be same shit. But God help me, I would do it every single day and walk out shredded because I was just dedicated to doing that exact fucking thing. I would need that to happen.
That's like when the Wii first came out. That's what I was like. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be cool. And then it wasn't like that at all.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was and it wasn't, you know?
I have a friend, he commented and he said, because of how deep in the reality you are, the brain perceives pain, the stress, so how would that, how could that affect us in a similar way too?
I mean, I already feel the fucking feelings. I don't need that. I need to burn the calories.
They'll just like give me the pain. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Like that's probably the least immersive thing for me in video games is watching a character sprint indefinitely and me thinking, man, I would have been back at like the corner of the first fucking street, like stopping for a fucking cheesesteak in a smoothie.
1 second,
yeah.
wait.
No, legit. I'm like a dwarf in Lord of the Rings, man. I'm very dangerous over short distances, but I can't do the long sprint. You know, your ass is good once you've been able to run from me for 20 seconds.
Man,
I just got to quit. I got a long stride and a short jog.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah, exactly.
But speaking of doing an impressive amount of damage in a short space or in a tiny space, what's it like being Yasuke in Assassin's Creed, Delta?
Oh, man. All right, so I, whenever I'm amped for a game like Beyond Belief, I will set my Xbox to be located in New Zealand and play something a day early, which is exactly what I did with this one. I mean, listen, for once, I'm going to tell you, if you go online and you read the comments, they're right. Everyone is stoked for this game. Like, the level of shitty rage that has come towards this game has dropped significantly the second you can play it. This game has been quite possibly the best Assassin's Creed that I've played since Black Flag, just in how much it's improved. And that's the thing, like everybody else say, like the shittiest like criticism you can give to this is like, oh well, why wasn't it like that in previous games? That's not how iteration works, right? This game is like Odyssey and Valhalla combined and just decided to put it in Japan. Like, it took the best elements of all of it. They've really enhanced the mechanics. I've been waiting to talk about this all week. So, like, they've finally updated stealth in a way that's, like, super fucking awesome. So, like, for now, finally, light level matters. So like if you're in darkness as opposed like if you're sitting in shadow as opposed to like just out,
Mhm.
there's a whole level of noticeability from enemy AI the
Okay,
entire
good.
time. They put in Splinter Cell mechanics. I can use kunai or shuriken to knock out lights like hanging lanterns, and it
Ooh.
puts more darkness around. They've put in a prone movement method now, so there's crouching and then there's full on like crawling, and you can crawl through like short grass or tall grass, I guess, but like you can crawl like through this lower amounts of grass to sneak up on things. And the AI, it's not even like a does it or does it not notice you. There's a whole level of like it takes the movement into account, but there's a floating chance that like if you attack someone and they start to notice you just before it happens, like you go to do it, they can stop you, or they can like prevent part of the damage, so they can like deflect it and it does less, or they can just full on stop you. There are some characters that will like I have like walked up to a guy and been like, okay, he's not going to expect me to try to assassinate him, and he grabs the hand
Oh wow.
and just like twists it back and kicks you backward. It's fucking terrifying to have something like that.
Yeah, I also
But it's
saw.
awesome. Like, there's a challenge to it.
I also saw that there's a way to actually circumvent that entire challenge too. Like you can actually go into the settings and make all of your stealth attacks like instant.
Yeah. So that's one thing Ubisoft's been doing a lot is they've added a whole bunch of variable levels of difficulty to everything. So like it's not just accessibility, it's just playstyle as well. So
Oh
like,
wow.
they've been doing you see story and then impossible difficulties in a lot of games all the time, but like
Right.
Assassin's Creed is like it's like okay, so you were frustrated that there were like RPG level mechanics for the assassinations in Odyssey. You didn't like that, but RPG fans did, so we're just going to make it a toggle for you. So it's like if you want your stealth kills to always kill the target like regardless, that's fine. Personally, I like the challenge to it, like sort of developing those elements and building towards certain things. So it was great for me to have that option. But like some people just don't want that. They don't want to bother with it.
I
So
think
you
that's
went for
good.
you went for
Yeah,
the
it is.
option that put hair on your chest, and while the others do not.
Exactly. You know,
Because
I mean, having all the options is great.
yeah, I agree.
That's the thing. I mean, it's a lot of work, but I appreciate the effort they've put into
Yeah.
it because it really does. It broadens the game without making it feel like it's pandering. Like you can make it exactly what you want, and it's also good when they've personally one of my least favorite types of achievements were the difficulty achievements, where they're like, "Oh, you played through the game on normal, now play through it on hard, now play through it on insanity." Like
Right.
especially big games when they were like that, it's like, no, I don't want to have to play through an entire game all over again, just because I'm classically conditioned to want every achievement. So the fact that they've
Exactly.
done away with that, like all the achievements are about playing the game now, which I really enjoy. But another element that I'm really appreciating is that they've decreased the amount of weapons that were available as opposed to like Valhalla, there were tons. So Yasuke and now I have two entirely different weapon sets, but the skill trees that you have, the weapons are each have their own skill tree as well.
Right.
And so like both characters have katanas. That's just a given. But like now I'm not even each character can swap between two different ones. So right now I have Naoi using a I'm gonna butcher the name. They put Kurosagama, the like the hook blade with the chain and like the weighted ball on the end.
Okay.
You know the
I
one
know
I'm
what you're
talking about? The
Yeah.
second I saw that shit in the game, I immediately swapped to main for that. And it is some of the most fun shit I've ever done because it's just like whipping shit around and then going around and hitting them in the face with the weighted end. And then another weapon type she has is using like a Tonto short blade and the hidden blade in tandem. Like it's finally like fighting with the hidden blade directly.
Oh wow.
And it's awesome. Like having all the different skills for it are just it's super satisfying. Each weapon type has like a very specific play style that you go to. And then another thing is just that both characters function entirely separately from each other in terms of play style. So like in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, you had Jacob and Evie Fry, and Jacob was less stealthy than Evie was, but they sort of played similarly.
Mhm.
Yasuke's just got weight. Like I'm not looking to like when I'm walking in with Yasuke, I walk through the front gates with Yasuke. Like, and he's got his weapons are crazy. He's got like I forget what it is. It's like a matchlock rifle with a blade on it
Yep.
that he can use. He's got
I was just
like
watching a video about that earlier.
the big weighted like spiked Japanese club
The
and shit like that.
Kanabo.
Yeah, the Kanabo. So like you can walk into a base with him and it flows so well. Like the weight of his abilities, like his attacks are terrific.
That kick is crazy.
Yeah. And yeah, that's another thing. So like most of the abilities, when you trigger them, they do that classic Japanese film thing where it goes black and white for a second and then all the blood is bright red.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really like stark contrast. And I mean, I actually like martial arts films a lot growing up. So like seeing that is like a really cool, just aesthetic element that you can do there.
How's the story?
The story is interesting. I honestly don't think it's one of the stronger elements, not because it's bad, but just because so much more about like I'm more interested in everything I can do right now
Got you.
than what the story's doing. But the thing is again, I am like a recent anime fan over the past 4 or 5 years. So I know some people that are big like weebs, like Japanese lore types and whatnot, and they're having a blast with it. They think it's great. But like the beginning of it, like the beginning of the game, there's like the classic like band of 12 enemies, and each one's wearing a unique like crazy Japanese mask, and they all have different weapon types, and it's shown like against a backdrop of like a night sky and the moon's there, and you know main character's like half dead at the time, and it's a very like cinematic like, oh, I'm gonna kill all of these guys at some point, you know, like swearing vengeance. So it's the story is I would say the story's classic. Like I don't think it's doing a whole lot of new things, but I think it's doing things well. From what I've seen, I know some people have had issues with the voice acting in the game. I know that's some people have said it's a little monotonous, like a little dry. But actually, Amir, you'll like this. You know, you and I have always talked about the fact that when you play Assassin's Creed games, you like to set them in the language of the place that they're playing.
Mhm.
They actually have a setting that's just called immersive mode.
Oh wow.
That automatically does all of that. It makes sure everything's in Japanese
Well, that's cool.
and that you're playing like that. And they also have a canon mode, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't do this, but they have a canon mode that removes all of the RPG choice elements in quests and narrative.
So you're just getting
So-
the canon story.
So, like, yeah. So, like, one of the things, like, you were saying that you didn't like that, like, there's a canon character for Odyssey, and
Mhm.
you wanted to play the game a specific way. So this is like, you're playing canon mode. You're still going through the same quests and stories, but the choices are eliminated because it's telling you that story. It's not making it your story. You want to hear their story,
Got it.
like exactly how it is. So you can play in canon mode, and it removes all of that from there. So like, they've really made the RPG elements optional in a way that neither play style feels like an afterthought, and I really like that. I think it ticks both boxes really well for both types of players.
Okay, and then the same question I posed to PJ, I'm gonna pose it to you as well. Have there been anything that you've encountered that you're like, I don't really like this?
So the biggest thing I can think of, which really isn't as big as I would think, in the prequel Assassin's Creed games, like so Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, when you got on like a mount, like a horse or something, if you had something tagged like an objective, you could tell the horse to automatically navigate to that location. That's not an option right now.
Okay.
I think that's probably something that'll get patched in because I've seen a couple people complaining. But other than that, I mean, there's a couple moments of a classic Assassin's Creed jank at times where like I'll hit a weird angle when I'm trying to like climb up a knee-high rock, and the movement registers it as a flat wall, so I'll like parkour up air for a second and then drop down, or occasionally something will notice me a little faster than I would expect or something like that. But for the most part, it's been, I mean, it looks fantastic. It feels great. The animations and the animations and the fluidity of the combat are all like super, super satisfying. So it's really hard. And again, like as someone who's worked in quality assurance for so long, like I have a really high tolerance for a lot of bugs and whatnot, but like I haven't crashed. I haven't had any like really bad frame rate issues. I haven't fallen through a world. Occasionally I'll see like a house plant that's floating a foot off the ground or something, but like it's all minor stuff, things that
Good.
they are most likely going to polish
Okay.
through. Like,
That's refreshing
it-
to hear.
yeah, no, I mean, and
Definitely is.
it's not like, you know, we've talked about Starfield in the past. I know people don't. There are a lot of people that don't like Starfield, but no one can deny it was like the smoothest Bethesda game that's ever launched.
Oh
Like,
yeah, for sure.
it felt the best, played the best. Like, it needs more, but in terms of just the overall core of the game,
Yeah.
and it's the same way here. Like this Assassin's Creed feels strongest at start out of anyone that I've played so far,
Amazing.
and I'm really enjoying that.
So okay, final question on Assassin's Creed.
Mhm.
What would you rate it out of 10?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Again, the Japan thing is just not really my vibe. I'm enjoying it, but it's not my aesthetic. Like, which sucks because like Origins, Ancient Egypt is 100% my thing, but it was the worst one out of the prequel games because the RPG elements were new and crappy.
Mm-hmm.
So
How many Altair out of 5?
yeah.
That's our girls from chat on TikTok.
I mean, I think at present I would give it probably a 7.5. With
Okay.
for a very real chance of hitting 8.5 within the next like 6 months, 6 to 12 months, just because of polish. And I typically take a long ass time to finish Assassin's Creed games because I do everything in the world I possibly can.
I still haven't
then they
finished
do-
Odyssey all the
They'll
way.
do- yeah, I mean, but then they do the DLCs too. You know, there's always some cool ass DLCs they do. So at the moment, I'm putting it at a 7.5. I think it's going to be much higher very soon, honestly. But I'm digging it. But before we move on from that, I do want to make a point just because I always catch this whenever I feel like I'm outing myself whenever I enjoy Assassin's Creed in public, and it even happens at work. Like game developers are like, "Oh man, he likes Assassin's Creed." So
It's
I
fun.
want to point something out to some people, right? Yeah, no, it is fun. If you're a fan, this is the game for you. If you've enjoyed Assassin's Creed games in the past, you're gonna like this one. I want to point something out though. One of the biggest critiques of the past 4 Assassin's Creed games has been, oh well, they're not assassins. They're not called assassins, and they're not called Templars. They call them Hidden Ones and the cult, you know, and all that. Kids, I want to point something out real quick. The prequel games were set in like BCE. Like Templars and Assassins were not this, like Origins was before the Order was even started. They called them the Hidden Ones because they just didn't call them Assassins yet.
They're
And the
still
Templars
assassins.
didn't even
Like,
the Templars didn't show, like the Knights Templar didn't show up in one of those games chronologically until maybe Valhalla, but even then their asses were overseas.
exactly.
Like we weren't going to see straight up Templars. Like the Templar Order was not the starting, like they were never the initial one. The cult took over the Templar Order and they took over that mantle. All of these factions are still there. They're just under different names. You know?
Exactly.
Like the rebellion became the New Republic in Star Wars, but no one's wondering what the fuck happened to the rebellion when we talk about the New Republic.
Exactly.
Like these,
And then-
these factions, they change.
And then
The
even when
banners change.
and then even when we're in like the old Republic, they're not called the Rebels. They have their own like faction names.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like,
But it's still the same stuff.
just
You know?
like the Sith. There's been an Empire, a Sith Empire, and the
Mhm.
Sith, and they've all been involved with each other. They've even been the same at times. But the mantle changes. It doesn't mean the motives have.
Exactly.
You know, and that's I'm not apologizing for, you know, some elements of Assassin's Creed games are tough to get into, but like this is not a legitimate argument. There are so many other ones you can make
I gotta
that
say,
I'll make happily with you, but that's not one.
I gotta say, I agree with what you said about Origins. Origins, like, I was just happy because I was like, oh, they all black, let's go! Like, so I was hyped for Origins. I can't
Dude,
say
no,
it's
I was
bad,
happy.
but
I loved
agree.
Origins.
I agree that mechanically that game was ass. Mechanically, I'm sorry, I don't even know how else to say it. It's
An aesthetic 10.
Yeah.
Like, it's a 10.
It's a 10 out of
but it's
10.
like,
but like, boy,
no, dude,
And
she's a 10, but she pushes on pull doors. all right? Like,
exactly.
that's-
She's a 10, but she pushes on pull doors.
like it's like, the lights were on, but nobody was home. for
Exactly,
Assassin's
and then
Creed.
Hey.
especially going from Origins, like playing Origins made me, I was really wary. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about Odyssey. And then Odyssey came out. I was like, I'm going to try it. Loved Odyssey. I was like,
But the problem with Odyssey suffered from the same thing that, I know I'm going to catch flack for this. Witcher 3, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom all had the same problem that Odyssey did. No, not necessarily. They were so big, and the risk reward was ass.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I would do this depth of exploration for any of these games. In Zelda, it was always a fucking shrine or a Korok seed. In Witcher 3, I dove to every single sunken wreck in Skellige. Every single time it was a pair of fucking Nilfgaardian pants. Your ass couldn't give me a fancy sword once. You couldn't bring me to a salvager that was like, shit, you dove to all those wrecks.
It makes you not want to explore.
The thing is if you're going to give the player a reason to explore, like, make it a good one. Like, because, like, the Zelda games, they were the ones that would benefit the most from having, like, crazy tools like the hookshot and whatnot. And everyone's like, oh, well, that removes the challenge of climbing because they put in the stamina system. Cool. Gate it behind some crazy challenges. Make me go all over the world, like the Bigoron sword in Ocarina of Time, where I had to go through like 1 million trade quests to get that sword. Make me go through 1 million fucking hoops to get to the hookshot. But that's my end game reward, is I have something that, you know, oversimplifies mechanics the way that is an equal reward to my effort. And so Odyssey was the same way, where this gorgeous world, right? Fantastic, like super immersive, great, like Greek Isles.
Malacca.
Like, I would go through a camp and I would walk out with the same 6 pairs of you know, boots.
Exactly.
After killing 30 soldiers. So then you get Valhalla, and Valhalla's like, oh, they hated how procedural the loot was, so they made it so equipment could only be found in special containers, and once you got it, that piece was permanently unlocked. You weren't ever selling or deconstructing it. You could upgrade it, but like that piece of equipment was always going to be in your inventory, and there was no capacity. Whereas Shadows has done it's back to a procedural system, but it's nowhere near as common. So like if you fight like 10 enemies, like 1 or 2 of them might drop an item. And then from there you can break it down or sell it if you want, but like chests are the ones you want to go for, because that's going to have like the epic and legendary stuff. And then they've unlocked engravings, which are like you can put special mods on them through engravings that like increase certain effects or add certain things to it. But like the loot is way less just unimpactful and weightless than it was in previous titles. And I want to be like, if I go out of my way to find something crazy, I want whatever it is to be super cool. Like Avowed did a really good job of that. Of like, if I fucked off the beaten path and I'm sitting here as a QA being like, man, I bet you they didn't know I could be up here. And then I find a fucking chest. A, they've made me eat crow. And B, it was usually something pretty fucking cool for where I was. You know, like even if it's just good crafting materials, it was always, there were good rewards to be found in that case.
Right.
Got you. And then lastly, and then we're going to move on from the Assassin's Creed topic. From TikTok chat, we got Jonathan. Jonathan says, number one thing in AC, how fluidly can I traverse the rooftops? And for how long can I keep going?
Okay. That's a legitimate question. I actually did just think about this earlier today. I mechanically despise Japanese architecture.
Oh my goodness.
I love the look, but those slanted fucking roofs with that wooden beam across the fucking top, and it's got the big ass fucking curls. You can fluidly get across some shit. But my God, if I had a fucking dollar for every time I'm going up a roof and my character stopped, like I can feel like I wish I could turn on the fucking, like there's a thing that developers can turn on that shows all of the collision fields and like mechanics and pathing and whatnot, like the traversal shit on objects. It's just like layers. I wish I could fucking see that, because I'll bet you they had to do some black magic to make that shit work. Because there have been so many fucking times where I'm sitting there and I'm like, I gotta jump over the other side of the fucking roof because that motherfucker down there saw me and I'm trying to like dip down. So if you don't try to get fancy with it, you can do it just fine.
Okay.
But if you're getting risky with that shit, you can get punished so quickly. Like you want to make sure that you're aware of the situation, which the game gives you all the tools to be. Like you can like take note of the enemies that are around you and all that. They give you all these terrific tools. but like that was some of the best. Like one of the best things about like Origins was like those flat, like Odysseys too. Those flat ass buildings.
Yeah.
Those like the roof was a fucking floor on the outside, and God, I loved that. Like I loved how simple that was because like the architecture is gorgeous and it matches, like it's historically accurate too, which is why they can't fucking change it. But
Wow.
like I love the peasant villages. The peasant villages in Shadows are great, but like if I go to like a daimyo's castle and I'm
Mhm.
trying to do some shit, like my ass, I'm like creeping around the outside wall killing people because if I get noticed on a rooftop, I'm
It's
gonna get
over.
shot down. Yeah, I'm done.
All right, he followed it up. He said number 2.
So,
Am I getting a cool walk through history with scenic vistas as I parkour?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's fucking gorgeous, and they've got dynamic weather. You can watch thunderstorms roll in, like full on lightning, and it starts like the clouds and the sky start to darken as it comes in. You get this huge torrential downpour that comes over everything. Like everything gets soaked. It's like noisy as hell. It feels terrific. I love the rain too, so it's such a great vibe. But like it's gorgeous, and even the like the token viewpoints of Assassin's Creed, where you go to the viewpoint and you like see everything. Like,
mhm.
god damn, that's a good shot. Like it looks so good every single time. This like you just get the mountains and the like the fog over there and like the bamboo trees. Like the that's hold on, that's one more thing actually. So the other day I was hiding in a bush and I tried to attack a guy with the what is it, the naginata, the spear sword. It's got like the long
Yeah,
handle
the
and the sword.
naginata.
Yes.
So his ass notices me. I back up into the bush. He swings at me. It cuts the bush down. My cover is gone. So like a bunch of
Wow.
the foliage, depending on the weapons that they're using, the foliage is like destructible.
Okay, that's
So
cool.
like I can go
That
like
is
literally
good.
I can go into the woods and cut bamboo trees down, which feels really cool. But like knowing that enemies can like sweep through my cover and make it way less effective is fucking terrifying, but also really cool.
That's dope. That's a really
That's
cool feature.
actually that's great because it's
Yeah.
making it more realistic. So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah,
And-
well, that's the whole thing. Like they've added a lot of systems that are very realistic. Like the game, I don't want to say it punishes stealth, but it is very rewarding when the stealth works out the way you want it to.
Good.
Like
good.
when you plan something really well, you feel it. You know,
And then
like
we
but the AI is smart now. Like if they see like in the distance, if they see someone get pulled into a bush, they're like, okay, hold on, that shit was pretty fucking weird. Like why'd my boy just go into the bush there? Where's he coming from? Like they
he
look
got
for you.
snatched
They
up.
they start poking around stuff, but they've added all these places for you to hide. Now it has a grappling hook too now, so like you can scale buildings like it's the full like literally just a hook. Like she throws it up and she scales up shit, and you can do cat cam. You
Yeah.
can do.
He was the reason my camera kept
I was wondering about that.
shifting over, and I had it perfect. It's so hard to get this thing perfect, and then he just plopped his fat ass over there and ruined everything I had planned.
I remember when he was like this big.
Yeah, man, he's
He's
huge
huge
now.
now.
Yeah, man,
He's a full ass man. That's a whole ass meal right
he
there.
weighs like 17 pounds, bro. Like and
Oh, yeah.
to be honest with you, we don't feed him that much, so I don't know where it's coming from.
I mean, listen, man. Ticton's 18 pounds, and the doctor
Jesus.
says it's like mostly muscle.
Oh, that's
He said
probably
it's
what it
actually
is.
like he's like the least fat cat I've ever seen. He's just huge.
That
Actually,
make-
but final point about fat cats: every animal you pet in Assassin's Creed Shadows becomes a placeable animal in your base. They have like a full base that you can set up with upgrades and buildings, and like you can decorate shit with like pathing and roof materials and shit. But like I've got Akita puppies in my base.
body.
I've got fat bobtail cats and shit. Like you can get all types of cool stuff.
That's actually
in,
that's a good feature to have in a
It
game.
is.
That is
It gives you a
Yeah.
reason to pet the dog and to stroke
Yeah.
the cat.
Like I legit go after and try to pet every animal I can find just because I might be able to add it to my base. But like they have like fountains and special pathways and terrain and shit that you can do. It's like full on Sims level
Oh wow!
like base creation stuff. So like you can place the buildings just normal and
All
use
they
the
need to
stuff and
do
get
for me
upgrades.
is
But
let
you
me
can
create
go
my
and
own
just start
character.
drawing shit. Like it's crazy.
All Assassin's Creed's gotta do now is just give me a game where I can create my own character. That's it.
I thought Yasuke was that for you. I thought you said that he was
Yasuke's a
surviving it.
real
What?
person. Okay.
Yeah. You are too.
Yeah. But I'm not Yasuke.
You could be.
I don't want to be Yasuke.
Learn Japanese, and you are.
Oh my wa Yasashi.
So
Konohamaru.
my thing
Naruto.
about Assassin's Creed, my thing about this Assassin's Creed is that was loud as hell.
The thing I like about Ass and Creed is
like Assassin's Creed is, first of all, I need to know what time period it took place in.
I want to say 1547.
So with that, because I'm a big fan of the Samurai Warriors, the Warring States of Japan edit time.
I mean, that's it. So it's 1579 until 1582.
Who's the
big bad? Is
Yeah.
it?
Is it like Nobunaga?
Nobunaga.
Okay, it's Nobunaga.
Yeah,
Okay,
Nobunaga.
yeah, okay. He's in there then. He's in there.
I get it. I'm getting it.
No, it's very interesting. So the game, and I it's spoiler-ish just because I'm telling you how the game starts, but I'm not giving anything away. So it has you start as Yasuke, coming in with these Portuguese merchants, and you're a slave to these merchants and like a bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
And you're meeting with Oda Nobunaga, who takes an interest in you. And at first, it sort of seems like he's just like sort of a kind guy, like he's doing it. But really, like having interacted with him a little bit as Yasuke, I'm like, oh, I'm a pet to this guy. Where he's just like, oh man, I've never seen a black guy before. I want one, and he did. He got one. Like, and then just turned him into a murder machine. But like Nobunaga's like, it's very interesting because like Yasuke is like a retainer to Nobunaga, whereas Naoe, her entire fucking village is wiped out by Nobunaga. So there's a really interesting contrast between the two characters there, but it gives you a perspective because like at first, like when I'm playing as Yasuke, I'm like, oh, like I'm going after some dissident rebels and shit. And then it immediately throws me into Naoe's perspective, and I'm like, oh, they're killing me. I was burning my own home. Oh shit. So no, it's very feudal. There are a bunch of different factions, and like Oda's trying to take over some shit. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You ain't got to say no. I know that story back and forth, up and down. I didn't play so many Samurai Warriors games off of that.
Dude, then you need to play this, and we need to compare notes because, like, as someone who knows Japanese history, I would be like, I want to hear that from your perspective as someone who knows Japanese history to someone who, like, I watched the Wano arc of One Piece, and that's about as close as I've gotten to Japanese history, which I know was kind of inspired, but at the same time, I don't know a whole lot.
That's funny. So I guess that brings us to the last game that got a pretty major update in the sense of, hey, we have a big update coming, and that'd be Monster Hunter Wilds. So we know we got a new monster coming, and we got a showcase that they're doing, I think, on Monday. Two new monsters. What's the other one? I know we got
we don't know yet.
Oh, we don't know the second one. Oh, maybe we'll get
Mitsuzune is showing up, but
yeah,
there's going to be one more.
Mitsuzune is showing up, the soapy monster. Trying to get me.
Dude, they've got to put it in the forest, right? Like, I really hope that they do a lot with the soap mechanic. Because I feel like going through like knee deep water would be fucking crazy.
Listen, it's a Diddy monster. It's a Diddy monster. Okay, like it's gonna have a slipping and sliding. We're not gonna know where we're gonna end up. We might end up like Drewski. You know what I'm saying? We don't know.
Drewski is crazy.
But yeah, no. Some people in my well, not some people, just one person in chat on TikTok, Impress. They're saying that they have been getting in trouble because they have been pushing back against Wilds. So I'm going to talk about some of their points real quick. One of the points that they made, or that they said, was they felt that the game was too focused on casual play and we still didn't get proper lore. Now, the pushback that I'll give, and then I'll let you guys talk, and then we'll work through their points together. The pushback that I give, I feel like we got a good amount of lore. Like, just listening to Nada's story, like, I never thought there was guardian monsters. That's a whole new thing. That was cool to see.
I want to make sure we don't spoil anything either, because I actually really enjoy some of those story beats from Monster.
Okay, yeah. We'll make sure I don't go too hard in it.
Let's make sure to use like neutral terms.
Got you. So we get a new type of monster, and we get lore that comes with that. We also get to learn a lot about Wyveria. So we do get lore. So I can't say we don't get any new or meaningful lore, because we do. What I would say on the casual thing is I don't think that it's super casual. I think a lot of people who have been playing Monster Hunter's been a niche title for 20 years. It just went mainstream with Monster Hunter World. Like, that was the first everybody is playing Monster Hunter, in my opinion, because that brought people in that I've never even heard them talk about.
That was
Monster
the most
Hunter.
accessible one.
That was, it was widespread. It was on every console. It brought a lot of people in, and then they got stuck on that T-Rex monster, the Anjanath. They got stuck on him because he beat the shit out of me, and he kept beating me. And I was like, you know what, though?
My wife has flashbacks to the Anjanath. She'll still talk about it.
And that was a wall that most players could not get past, and a lot of people dropped the game because of that. So now here we are in Wilds. They've lowered the bar, but not really that much. I just think, for me, I think it's the fluidity of the combat. If you were to release World today without Wild's mobility, people would be saying it's too hard. That's what would be happening now, because you would get to Anjanath, you can't fluidly move out of the way. And so my argument, I guess, is just that I think the more fluid a game is, the easier it feels, because you have better movement. Usually movement is a big qualifier in terms of how difficult a game is. PJ, hit us with it.
Yeah.
A big usurper, fan advocate for movement in video games. First of all, I play any game. I'm fast paced off of it. I like the movement. But when something feels stiff, you're not gonna love it. As far as Wilds go, for me, Wilds is slower paced than what I would like. And I use the dual wield daggers, and I still feel slower, but that's just because of how fast paced I like my gameplay. But in the same sense, it is still fluid enough. I don't think it's super casual, because for me, this is my first Monster Hunter game. I still need help. Like, for those who don't play Monster Hunter, this is actually
noob.
Hey, true. True.
No, I'll definitely piggyback off the movement thing, though, PJ. When I was doing my design stuff, movement was my bread and butter, because if you move well in a game, that's what the player's doing 90% of the time. Everything else is just icing on the cake.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Spider-Man games on PS5, Jesus, oh my God. Like, I'm a New Yorker, so that's one thing, but like, holy shit, being able, like, I have legit done nothing for hours at a time swinging around that world, and that's crazy, which was another reason why I really liked Anthem, was because Anthem's like mobility and gameplay for that was incredible at the time. There just wasn't a whole lot to keep us going, and then it got tossed. There's a whole lot of shit there, but like good movement in games, like some of my top games of all time have been on like the majority of that pillar is the fact that I could move in a way that was really satisfying. So I agree there.
Yeah.
I will kind of counter a little bit to the casual discussion. Actually, I'm kind of surprised with myself. So I don't know. So they definitely made it more. This is the most accessible Monster Hunter there's been. This has been the Elden Ring of the Monster Hunter series, I think. Because, like, you know, you got a lot of people that were trying to play Bloodborne, Dark Souls, the one that I hate because I can only parry, and parrying's the bane of my life. The Japanese one. What is it?
Sekiro.
Sekiro. That's it.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
Elden Ring. You get Elden Ring. You can go wherever you want, however you want, play however you want. You get all this opportunity to fail and succeed and all this different shit. Made it more accessible. This Monster Hunter, I think.
Hey, what up, Malik?
The biggest frustration I had with Wilds at this time is that the wound system has trivialized a lot of hunts for me. And it's because, like, I can inflict wounds very easily, but once you learn how to do that, how to target wounds and deal that kind of damage, it does massive damage. It also always drops a piece of the monster. And that can be huge parts too.
That feature alone is why I really like Wilds more than the past iterations of Monster Hunter.
It's a really cool feature.
Yeah,
but I think at the moment it's trivializing things. I was expecting the wound system to make it easier for me to break parts, I wasn't expecting it to make it easier for me to kill outright.
Yeah.
And that's the
I
whole thing.
agree.
So, like, I went through it with a hunting horn. I did not sever a single piece of a monster through the entire campaign because it's a big, blunt instrument. But bet your ass if I was not done with a hunt in 15 minutes every time. And in the low rank stuff, oftentimes I would do one hunt and I would have enough parts to build an entire set after a single hunt. And I think so. The reason that this game is so good for people that are trying to get into Monster Hunter is because of that.
Mhm.
Because you get to see what the reward looks like. Because in previous Monster Hunter titles, it's like, cool, you killed the thing. You can build a pair of pants. Go kill it 13 more times, and you can get the full set, which will be obsolete in 2 hours. But the thing is if you're a Monster Hunter fan, that's your shit, right?
You're
Like
right.
you go through and you're like barely surviving until you find the one thing that you love. It nearly carts you 3 times, and then you build like a pair of pants, and then you beat the shit out of it until you're walking around in its family. And then
Exactly.
you take that shit into high rank until you find the high rank version of it, and you beat its ancestors even harder. But, like,
Exactly.
That's so I didn't actually experience anything I would consider challenging until I hit high rank.
Hmm.
And then high rank hit, there were like 2 monsters that I haven't been able to actually successfully hunt.
By
in
yourself or in general?
Just in general. Like, I've watched them wipe teams, and they've wiped me like solo, and I won't go into details because one of them's a spoiler and one of my favorite monsters of all time, so I was really happy to see it.
I would imagine it's the purple demon horned dragon.
That's very, very subtle. Good job. No, but
Hey, I
like,
didn't say the name of it, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's a purple dragon, man.
For
you
me,
know?
who is
and
It's
that one
Barney,
guy
bro,
on the
like-
Sessions podcast, I
I'm
won't
still
spoil
in
it,
the lower.
but he's the tall white one. I'm not going to tell you the name. It's not a spoiler, but the tall white one that's got the Hagrid look, that guy, you're going to love him. Yeah, not a spoiler at all, Mir. Good fucking shit. Google Monster Hunter Purple Monster. Let's see how many show up. Ashley.
Hey, listen, there's the Giceperos, okay? Like, that's a purple monster.
Well, now you just killed it. Now there's 2.
Hey, that's not the monster you're talking about, okay?
No,
That's a classic
but-
monster. That's different.
But anyway, I think that the wound system has trivialized some stuff.
Mhm.
However, what I am going to say is Monster Hunter's biggest strength is in the content that is added to the game. Like, we've already got a title update coming next month, which is it's a month from the launch of the game, which is great. And I think once there's usually a 3rd difficulty called Master Rank that comes out. And I think when Master Rank hits, that's going to be the return to form that the hardcore, like, veteran hunters are used to. But I think in the meantime, those title updates are going to do a lot of good because, like, we're getting 2 monsters. They're finally doing a social space for they're doing a gathering
Hub, yep.
which a lot of people were upset there wasn't one to begin with, but given the lore of it, where it's like it's an expedition, it's just you and what you brought in on your back kind of a thing, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, it takes
My
some time to
biggest
set
hope-
that up.
My biggest hope is they give me some place to set my endemic life because I've been catching a shitload of cool animals and I really want to like show them off all over a room like you could in Worlds,
Yep.
which they've got to do. They've put so much detail into that now. Like there has to be some point where they'll do that. As for the lore standpoint, honestly, that's the part I really disagree with, though. Monster Hunter lore has been like the loosest draw for me in the entire series. I have almost never given a shit about the lore of Monster Hunter. It's always just been, is something bigger there for me to fuck up? And that's been it. This game actually had me intrigued to the point of what you were talking about. Like, there's a new set of like monsters that show up, and the origin story of those monsters was actually really fucking
It was.
cool.
I was like,
It was.
whoa.
I'm like, all right, actually, it's like, I was like, I want to hear more about this. Like, I want to see more about this because that's really fucking cool.
And then also just with that
I wanted to do
alone,
more.
with that just alone, not even from a lore standpoint, but even a gameplay standpoint, imagine how many monsters they could bring back because of that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Things
saying?
that were canonically extinct or just like a one-off type thing, they could show up. They could apply this. They could apply this shine to pretty
Mhm.
much anything. And if you've gone through the entire game, when you hit the end,
Wait, time out.
uh-oh.
Flag on the play.
Yeah. Because that whole thing right there is exactly what researchers and scientists are trying to do with dinosaurs right now.
Yeah, we're living in Jurassic World. You didn't know?
They're really trying that right now.
Listen, here's what happens. If we can bring the dinosaurs back, we could stop using oil. But anyway, that's a different story for a different topic. But anyway, so what I will say about Monster Hunter Wilds and the wound system, because we were talking about that, I do agree. I don't think you should do nearly as much critical hit damage as you do. It does make sense considering that you are twisting the knife in the wound, essentially.
Sure, but like if it was used to break parts rather than just deal damage.
Exactly.
So like,
I think that would be better.
Let me wound like I was wounding like the hind leg. Like wound the tail, let me target that, and then let me do like massive amounts of damage to the point of the tail breaking off. Or
Yes.
Like the skull plate breaking or something. Like there are monsters that you can shatter pieces on.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like wound damage should be focused on those parts.
And I agree with that. And then that way you could still
weaken them too.
Yeah.
There's some monsters where entire mechanics are removed or like debuffed by not having those parts.
Yeah,
so I feel like there's a lot of potential there.
So no, it's a great system. I think they're trying to work out all the kinks. What I will say is the last time people complained about how easy a previously difficult game was Elden Ring. And then all of those people who complained about Elden Ring, when it came out with Shadow of the Erdtree, all of them were sitting there crying. Every single one of them. They were like, this is too hard. Why'd you make it so difficult? I can't just wear my underwear and a jar on my head and beat things anymore. I have to you can. But like, and the crazy thing about it, PJ, I don't know, did you play it, PJ?
Played it for a little while.
Did you do the Shadow of the Erdtree?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so
I wasn't that deep in that Elden Ring.
Got you. So there's a feature they added in that game to up the tiers and to up your exploration. So you had to get these items that would essentially.
So, sorry, I'm thinking about this specifically. Like,
go for it.
So like, basically, what this was is like you would collect the tiers, and they would exponentially scale your strength and defense.
Mm-hmm.
My problem with that was the fact that it was most of Dark Souls was like you would level, like all these games have been you level, you get better gear, you hit this point. This, like, if you're not the player who explores, I love exploring, so I always find all this shit anyway. If you're not the player that explores, this became impossible.
Yeah.
The level of difficulty in killing something was incredible. So like I explored everywhere first and then went and did some fights, and some of those fights were disgustingly easy because I had gone out of my way to find all that shit beforehand. But someone who plays the other way around, where they go and do other stuff and then explore, would not have been able to do that at all.
Yeah.
And I think fundamentally that was something that doesn't match a FromSoft game. But I think the level of complaint was a little ridiculous. But I think I do kind of agree, like, I would have rather them spend more time giving me, like, just up the level of souls I get. Let me build even fucking higher. You know,
Yeah.
like,
No,
add more gear. But like,
I have a problem with that because Dark Souls have made their game specifically a certain way, right? And everybody's used to it. Now you flip the script, they even made it exponentially difficult. They pretty much said Elden Ring was going to be the hardest game you played. And when they lived up to it, people cried.
That's exactly how I felt about it.
No. But here's the thing, though. You answer that difficulty by leveling and getting gear. They removed those two. That was no longer the answer in this DLC. The answer to this was go find these items, and then almost anything is viable.
Yeah.
The key to Souls games has always been like, oh, you couldn't beat the boss. Go, like, you know, like Elden Ring especially, like, you fuck off to another place, you do something you can do. In this one, you couldn't really do anything. It's like
unless you went and found those tiers, yeah.
You needed to go and find those tiers.
I fall somewhere in between the two of the viewpoints. I lean more towards PJ, and I think that, hey, you got people were complaining about how difficult the game was. The game got way more difficult. They all started crying. I think we're about to get the same thing once they start dropping all these new difficulties in Monster Hunter. I think we're gonna get the same thing. And everybody's going to be like, oh man, no, it's too hard. I can't even beat the, I don't know, what's a basic monster? The Chatacabra on this now. It's too difficult. Like, you know what I mean? So that's what I think is going to end up happening because we've seen it happen so many times. Like, for example, when I hit the plateau at World, they dropped Rajang on me. Like, you know?
I call him Furious George.
Man, I call that motherfucker Goku, cause that's who he is. Like, you ain't gonna tell me. You ain't gonna tell me.
That's Vegeta level Fury right
Bro,
there.
it's just insane. What he did to the Kirin was crazy. I was like,
oh yeah,
damn.
the horn.
So I went and
Terrifying.
seen that video when when they were talking about dropping monsters and everybody brought it up, and he was the first one they brought up. So they, on TikTok, they have a little sub video where you can see I seen him pick you up and throw you around, slam you into the ground. I said, oh, yeah, I'm gonna stop playing if I see him.
Man,
that shit can easily one-shot you in gear specifically made from its body.
Exactly.
It is fucking insane.
And then you got people talking about like, oh man, like the Ajarakan was such a, like, for some people the Ajarakan in Wilds was a part. They had a hard time fighting the Ajarakan, and I was like, listen. You don't know. Yeah, we fought the pink monkey. Yeah, we're fighting fire monkey, but you don't know electro monkey. You don't know electro monkey, okay?
No,
and then
they call him Furious George, but the internet also calls it Rape Ape.
Oh,
which is very terrifying.
That's awful.
It is terrible.
It really is, but it's not exactly inaccurate either.
Oh God, it's not. It's not. You know, the whole time you're like, one of the things that Delta used to say, and I'm pretty sure he still says it. If you ask him to do something that he doesn't want to do, he's like, "I'll kick and scream and tell you no, but we could do it or whatever."
I don't say that anymore. It's not 2012 anymore. I can't say that.
But that's how you feel when someone's like, "Hey, do you want to fight Rajang?" You're like, "I'll kick and scream and tell you no, but we can do it." Like,
yeah. You guys have seen DBZ Abridged before. So one of my favorite features of Monster Hunter is the auto callouts, where you can like set it to say certain things when certain conditions are met in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And mine is whenever I'm grabbed by a monster or pinned by the monster, it says, "No monster, Dono Yamate."
Oh my God.
I have set up some things, like I have set up some call outs in these games where like the people I'm playing with, like just randos, their characters will stop, and then I'll get DMs after the hunt where it's like, "Fuck you, I carded because I read what you said, and I fucking lost it." And I couldn't pay attention, and I got killed.
I had one that's whenever I would mount a monster, it said, "I'm gonna ride it to the tippy top till you bust your top." Like, I was saying some crazy shit, and it's just like you're up there bucking around. That used to make people card all the time.
When an ally mounts a monster in Wilds, my character says, "This is why I subscribe to your OnlyFans."
Oh my God,
I always love whenever I use like a taunt pod. I used to in World. I had it say, "The Last of Us was just okay."
The Last of Us was just okay.
And in Wilds, it says, "I actually enjoyed Star Wars Outlaws."
Oh my God. He's trolling.
I love like that on there. Whenever I do like the camouflage mantle, I'd say I'm going Ghost, doing the full Danny Phantom. Like, I live for that shit. It's always fucking fantastic.
I'm going Ghost.
Man, all I'm saying is I think Wilds has the most potential for a Monster Hunter game right
Absolutely, it does. That's irrefutable.
And I think right now we're just like a lot of us has been playing, like PJ's new to it, but a lot of us are like me and Delta, or even people, I don't know how long Delta's been playing it, but I've been playing it since it was on PlayStation 2. So I've been playing it literally for 2 decades at this point. And
I first played it on the Wii, which was terrible.
Monster Hunter
but
Tribe.
The one I really got into was even worse, which was Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Which was
I remember that. We played that together, you, me, and Alex.
I played that fucker for years. Yeah. And let me tell you, you think the controls are unfun now. You have seen literally nothing.
Exactly.
Holy
exactly.
Shit.
The controls on that shit sucked. But
that game was unplayable.
But I just think in the long run, when it comes to Wilds, there's so many monster potentials. As long as they keep giving us updates, even if they come once every 2 months or once a month or something like that. If we keep getting 2-3 monsters added, there's so many monsters that can work. And there's so many like the Kuzu would work, or the Kezu. That would work perfectly. That could fit in the ice area. There's so many monsters that could just fit. The only monsters that I'm worried about is
Brachydios back. I want
Brachydios. That'd be a cool one to bring back. My concern,
Rocket Balboa is one of my favorite monsters.
one of my favorite monsters that I would hope that they would bring would be the Tigrex or the Tigrex. I think they should definitely bring. They need to bring that guy back. I loved that thing. That thing was fun. I mean, they brought all the monkeys, man. They brought the Congalala. They brought the Blongalala. They got all the monkeys, man.
So my thing about it is,
So why not bring me my giant tiger dragon? I want my tiger dragon.
The update side of it.
Mhm.
So for you guys who are already there, you know, that go hard for Monster Hunter, the once a month, once to 2 months, that was a perfectly planned time for an update. You know, let the game come out, get everybody a month to get into it,
Mhm.
and especially for the Monster Hunter people who are more, y'all are gonna grind it. Y'all gonna grind it nonstop, 24/7. Y'all, they gave you that, and then still gave us the casuals or the newbies time to, hey, understand this. This is how it works, and you can still develop. Like me, I'm still way down there in levels. While I look in the mirror, he way up there.
I'm not even that high. I bet Delta's higher than I am.
I don't think I am. I think I'm like 50 something.
Okay, I'm higher than Delta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been
And me,
playing like two
I'm
other
still
games
down
on
in
top of it.
me. I'm still down in the 20s because I'm focusing on 100 other different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, but
No,
it's
I mean,
great.
and that's the thing. I don't disagree with them adding like a simplifying some elements. I
Yeah.
really don't.
yeah,
The thing is, though, this is the first Monster Hunter game that I've ever played where I hit the end. Just at all. Like that's the whole thing. Like the end of the campaign is whatever, but like I have reached the point where I have stopped being given like far off objective quests.
Mm-hmm.
And that's weird to me because like in all the other Monster Hunter games, it's like, oh, hit Hunter rank 40. And then the next objective's like hit Hunter rank 100. And you're like, fuck me, I'm never gonna get there. And eventually you do, right? But like it's so far off. Like I no longer have those objectives.
Yeah.
So that's
that
a
was
little weird for me because it means like what I have right now is what I've got until they add more. So that's a little strange for me because typically, because the thing is the hunts aren't as difficult with this wound system. So I'm not investing or grinding nearly as much. It's me jumping in, doing a 10, 15-minute fight, leaving again. Whereas before it was like I'm jumping in, I'm hunting for some materials and whatnot. Like hunters aren't even hard to find.
right.
Or materials aren't even hard to find anymore.
Now
Like,
you can
I
find a
just
hunter
find-
anywhere.
Yeah, well, that's true. Well, no, I mean, and they've got the AI hunters now too, which they're actually super useful.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
use those whenever I'm playing solo and I'm about to do like a tempered, really strong monster, and I don't see any of my friends online, and I don't feel like struggle busting through it. I'm just like, yep, come on, Olivia, let's get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I mean that's legitimate, but like at the same time, like I'm a little disarmed by that. But the thing is they've consistently provided content for like 1, 2, 3 years after the games come out, to the point where I'm not concerned about it. I'm just a little disappointed that I don't feel the drive to continue playing right now.
No, I feel you.
Luckily, I've got a bunch of other shit I can play, which is fine.
I still have to upgrade. I finally got 6 loadouts made, which sounds like a lot, but it's really not. I had them all planned from the beginning.
Yeah.
So now that I've pretty much got all of the pieces that I need to make those sets work, now I just need to do the event quests to get all my armor spheres so that I can upgrade all of my
There's
armor.
not enough armor spheres from that quest either. That shit
I know,
is-
you just gotta keep. I gotta keep doing
they
it.
give you like 3. They're like, oh, you could get so many. I'm like, I could do anything else and find more.
They
I'm
added
sure.
a new
Like,
one that gives more.
Did they? Okay,
Mhm.
because I might need to do that because it's killing me to like do small ones like that.
And
But
then-
like I don't know. Like I'm really enjoying it. I'm chomping at the bit to get back in. Like I'm waiting for my wife to hit high rank, and I'm probably going to jump back in then. But like one of the weird things, the apologists for this game are very interesting. If you ever look at the comment sections where someone's like, "Oh, I've done everything," which is too general of a statement that like that's not really the case. But then the Uber fans come in and they're like, oh, you've built every weapon, every equipment set. You've done you've fully upgraded all of that. You've caught every crown monster. It's like that is not completionist content for some of us.
Yeah.
Like, why would I go and build I am a hunting horn main. I don't use anything else. I have 2 hunting horns on my build. I don't even use another weapon type. Here's my thing. Why the hell would I go through and build a bunch of long swords? That's just a waste of materials that I will eventually sell when I run out of money, which hasn't happened yet either, which is blowing my mind. But I don't understand how anyone's like, I have completed this game when I have built every weapon type ever in this whole thing. I built the whole thing. For some people, that's their thing. That's fine. But there's no way
on
we can
average,
look at
most people want. Yeah, that's not a 100% thing.
No.
I don't even know if you get
every armor set.
I don't even know if you get an achievement for that.
No, you don't. That's literally.
Yeah, so then it's not a completionist thing. Then it's just you just wanting to do that.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's not a legitimate argument for that. There are some things where I'll build every version of something. I think every armor set's kind of an interesting way to go. But
yeah, building all the armor pieces.
The weapon types I'm not going to use is just ridiculous.
I mean, I can see the use in building all the armor pieces, and the reason that I say that is because you have the transmog with your armor. So, if you make your own armor set, then you can just go and then do the layered armor, and then you have everything to choose from. That's what I ran into, because there's a lot of pieces that I wanted to use, and there was just monsters I wasn't hunting, and I was like, dang, that would look really cool with this setup. So then I have to go and hunt this monster a whole bunch of times. So it makes sense to just go ahead and create, all the armor pieces. I can definitely understand that. But weapons, no. Yeah. I only use 5 weapons. Okay, you're either catching me.
A lot of players want to see fucking layered weapons, which I don't hate the idea.
No, I think that'd be amazing.
I mean, considering some event weapons are just crazy bullshit, like the swordfish weapons and shit. I'd love to see that happen. But
yeah. Let's see. You're usually gonna catch me running. You usually either catch me running with sword and shield. I've been recently really, really loving the switch axe. And then I use both of the bow guns, light or heavy, doesn't matter. And then at first I wasn't a big fan of the charge blade in this game, but I'm starting to understand that you can circumvent a lot through the wound system. So now that I understand that mechanic with it, it's a lot easier for me to get into my savage axe mode and just go ham. So I've been enjoying it that way. But enough about Monster Hunter. We talked about Assassin's Creed. We talked about Bleach. But you know what? I got a game for y'all.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, this one's not a headline game though. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give you some games. I'm going to list out some games. You guys have to rank these games on a scale of 1 through 5. And wherever you put the game, you can't change the position.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I saw Casey do this with fast food, and it broke his spirit.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. So all I did was I went on ChatGPT and I told it to give me a list of 100 video games from 2022 to 2025.
Oh God!
And they're in no particular order, so I'm just gonna list them off, and then you both are going to pick the game. You're gonna take whatever game I give, you're gonna put it in your position, and you're gonna tell me why you put it in that position. Okay?
I hate this.
Nah, you're gonna love it. All right, number 1 is going to be Splatoon 3. Where would you place Splatoon 3?
What's the top? What's the highest?
The highest would be 1.
1. Okay, I have not ever played Splatoon, so Splatoon is a 5.
All right, we got Splatoon's pretty fun.
I know people love Splatoon.
I've never even seen it or heard of it. So I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's like
I don't even know what
it's like. You played Marvel Rivals. If you did the Christmas event for Marvel Rivals, that's Splatoon. It's just with Jeff the Shark.
Yeah, it's imagine like a goofy ass game of paintball.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun game.
I've never seen or heard of it. So
all right, here we go. I'm gonna give y'all a difficult one. Marvel Spider-Man 2.
2.
I'm actually still working through 2 yet. I haven't finished it. But
I'm giving it a 2.
Why are you giving it? Why are you putting it at 2? That's a pretty high
Because
spot.
because
the
there's
movement.
The
I love
movement!
it all. I love it all.
Movement's so good.
I love it
Venom.
all.
And
I
Venom.
love it all. I love it all. But just Spider-Man, himself as the greatest Marvel character, but it is not the greatest game to me. I'm just leaving my options open.
I got you.
So
Being
I'm just
smart.
leaving
Being
my
smart.
options.
All right, Delta, where are
Yeah.
you putting it?
So I got it for Christmas this year. I was real late on it, and I burned through as much as I could because I wanted to get to the Venom suit as fast as possible. Because like the Venom symbiote stuff is some of my favorite concepts ever.
Mhm. I love the symbiotes.
And dude, the fact that when you go into like the rage mode before you've discovered like the entity in the suit, and like the controller speaker is like you're hearing like the weird like guttural sounds, and then like there's weird traces of English in there as like Venom's trying to like speak to you,
Mhm.
is so fucking cool. Like the whole thing is cool as hell. I love it. But just because I'm paranoid about what's coming up, and because I haven't finished the game yet, I'm gonna put it at a 3.
Okay. Okay.
I love it so far, but I mean, given that Splatoon is at a 5, it feels disrespectful because I haven't played Splatoon that much, and I don't know enough about it to put it anywhere. The fact that it's only got 1 in between it and Spider-Man is disrespectful to Spider-Man on this list. But because I don't know what you're going to read next,
Yeah,
I'm terrified.
That's it. That's
All
it.
righty. Okay. Oh. Huh. Why would they give me a tentative title here? Obviously. Okay, I can't say that one. All right. Scrolling. I'm looking at y'all. Actually, I'm just going to look away. The screen's over here. Okay, let's see. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the remake.
Oh,
4.
yeah, I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay, yeah, that seems perfectly fair. I think I don't even need to question that. I think that's a reasonable
It's
one.
a-
Hey, we got a number 1 in the chat on TikTok from Jonathan.
Hey, listen. It's a 1 in concept. It's a 4 in execution.
There you
I
go.
agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
All right.
Again, she's a 10, but she pushes on the pull door. You
So
know?
that's-
Exactly. That's how I feel about it.
That's 3 games. We got 2 more. All right. Here we go. I'm scrolling, and the mouse lands. NBA 2K25.
Jesus, that is awful for me. That would have been 5.
You can't put it at
3.
5.
3. It's 3. It's 3.
Delta's out.
Unfortunately.
Delta's out. Hey, listen. Delta retired, y'all. Let me.
Look,
He looks short
look.
now. You done took the inches
Look.
off of Delta now.
Look. I'm not going.
I've had a good run. A wonderful audience. But I think it's time to announce my retirement. Really, my career's had a lot of ups and downs, but I think this is where I need to gracefully bow out and
I'm so happy.
accept my
I'm so
defeat
happy I
gracefully.
stayed where I was at.
Delta's
Spider-Man at
the
2.
only spot you have available, Delta, is 2. Like that's.
Nah, dude, it's a
All he
6.
has is 2 and
He
1
said, "Nah,
left.
dude, it's a 6." He said, "Can't even rate it."
It's a 6, bro. I don't care. It breaks time for me. I can't
Look,
stand sports games.
Look, I'm gonna be real with you. Sports game has completely dried up.
They really
it's
have.
over.
Like, what they need to
there's
do, all they need to do is they just need to make one game and just keep updating it.
Updating
There is
it.
no point.
Just
I don't
put
even-
NBA 2K,
Yeah.
updated rosters.
And I don't even
change,
care.
all that.
I don't even care if you lock stuff behind a paywall. I don't care. There's no point
Like,
in us
yeah.
coming out with a new game that doesn't do anything different.
I
But maybe, hey, now the shirts do this. Like that's
Literally.
You can't change the mechanics. You can't. There's a set of rules. Like,
Exactly.
No one wants to see baseball with different mechanics.
Like the
I would
most
love
you
to
can
see
do,
baseball with guns.
bro.
honestly, the most you can do with NBA 2.
He hit a home
The most
run.
you
No,
can do
he
now
didn't.
is
The
literally-
pitcher pulls out a gat.
Look, the most you can do with 2K now is go and add a different mode, and then you have basically NBA Street Volume 1 through 3 or NBA Ballers. That's the most you can do with 2K now to give it any type of different.
Very true. Very true. And even if they did that, it would get stale very quickly.
And if I had $1 for every, like, when I worked at GameStop, man, every like Puerto Rican dad that would come in with their kid and they were looking for a specific FIFA from like 4 years ago.
Oh,
and
man.
I'd be like, sir, here's the most recent FIFA. And he would be like, oh, well, it doesn't have it. He would name some guy I've never heard of. And I was like, and I'm like, okay, let me look it up. And I would Google it and be like, oh, he's right here. He's like, yeah, but it's not from his rookie years. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, why?
Well, the level of loyalty here is beyond me.
Because his rating in his rookie year was at a 98, and now his rating is at an 88.
He's not as good as my headcanon anymore.
What does that mean? I don't understand. Someone help. Send help.
All right, here we go. We got the next one.
It's gonna be I
gotta
put it at 2.
Oh man. All right, here we go. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake.
Okay, no, that
I'm actually okay with that.
I'm chill with that. I'm chill with that. That's fine.
That's
for
my
me.
number one.
I need it to happen. I'm glad they're still
we
working
ended
on
strong.
it. But like, dude, no, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time is one of my favorite games ever.
That was I remember when that first dropped. I was like,
that trilogy. That trilogy was so good. And then not only that, the most recent Prince of Persia game, The Two Crowns, that was a legitimately good fucking game. It was like Hollow Knight, but Prince of Persia. It was really, really cool. I loved it. I thought it was. I can't wake for the Prince of Persia.
For
remake.
me,
I'm looking for him.
My list was a W.
Mine was a
My list is a W. Number 1, Prince of Persia. 2, Spider-Man. 3, 2K. 4. What was the fourth one?
I can't remember.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Republic, yeah, that's what it was.
And 5th was
Splatoon, yeah.
Yeah. So
no, I demand a recount. Start it over.
All right, okay. Next one. Here we go.
Hey, W's in the chat. PJ with a W.
PJ's with the W. All right.
How is this competitive? I was brutalized.
Fable 3.
Fable 3?
Yeah. The original Fable 3? Or
no, well, the new one's Fable 4.
Fable 4.
Dude, Fable 3. I'll put that at a 3 for me. A lot of people did not like Fable 3. I love 4.
I'll go with PJ. I'm putting it at a 4 as well.
I'm putting it at a 4.
I agree with what you. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Delta. I think it did a lot of good things, but I also just fundamentally hate everything Peter Molyneux stood for. So it's hard for me.
I don't know. You can't hold games to the people.
I can't. But he's the guy who was the head of it, who sat there and told people. There's a whole bunch of people who were like, "Man, it'd be really cool if we could just customize these characters. Make all these." He was like, "People don't want to be black in video games." Verbatim out of his mouth.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
But the game itself.
The game itself was fine. That's why I gave it a 4, though. I didn't put it at the bottom spot. I put it right above the bottom, just in case.
I'm gonna be honest.
Just in case.
I didn't do it because of that. I put because Fable 1 and 2 were just better overall than Fable 3.
I enjoyed Fable 2 the most.
The only thing I disliked about Fable 3 was the weird time thing that they did at the end, where they gave me a specific limit to how long I had before
until the big bad came.
Yeah, so the big wave, they put me at a limit, and they made it very difficult to tell. There were certain things that would run in the background without telling you how they happened, and then you could have that sneak up on you, and that ruined the game for a lot of people. But the adaptive weapons were awesome. The weapons that you could get that would change their attributes based on how you played. If you killed innocents, they would start gaining crazy powers and shit, and physically change. I loved that. And combining the spell gauntlets, doing the tornado and the swords so that people would get thrown off their feet and then impaled by a shitload of energy swords.
Yeah, I said, it did a lot of cool stuff.
I loved Fable.
It's just 4.
Next up, we got Diablo 4. I'm gonna put this one at a 5.
Yep, Diablo 4.
I don't fuck with Diablo like that.
I wanted to. I have given every Diablo a chance. And,
1 through 3 was great.
I disagree. Diablo 3 was terrible for me, and it was because
I love
I-
3.
I could not stand any of the classes, and then they gave me an update like 2 years later. They give you an expansion that cannot be purchased separately. You have to rebuy the entire game with it attached.
Oh, I do
And
remember that
then-
happening.
And then they released the Necromancer class, which was what was going to bring me back. But get this, they do that 3 years after the expansion when no one's playing Diablo 3. And then when I finally did play it, it was a Necromancer that shot waves of skeletons. Who the fuck plays a Necromancer that can't summon an army of bones? Like, why the hell would I ever do that? That is such a waste. 4 at least understood. It's like, this man wants 8 skeletons, 5 skeleton mages, and a big ass fucking golem, and he wants to sit in the back and do nothing while his army wipes everything from the face of the planet. Loved that about Diablo 4.
That is a
But there was
necromancer.
nothing for me to do afterwards. And then they wanted me to re-roll a character every single friggin' time. Like,
Yep.
that was just dull. I hated that. They're like, oh, well, there's a legacy server. Yeah, but then none of the normal content is in the legacy server.
Diablo
Like, ugh.
4. Diablo 4. It's a 5.
All
I
right.
need summoners. Give me summoners.
Instead
Let
of
me
me-
make shit fight for me.
Instead of me scrolling up and down, I'm just going to tell ChatGPT to pick a random one.
Oh God.
Random one from the
Tell it not
list.
to pick games. Tell it to not pick games that aren't out.
Okay.
We don't need any like potential might or might not be remakes coming out.
Okay. Outer Worlds, the first one.
Ooh.
3.
I'm glad I just replayed this.
I'm going to go 2.
You know what? I'm also gonna do it too. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's really solid. It was a good lore
It is.
dump game.
It's,
I enjoy
it's solid.
the...
It just wasn't for me.
Oh yeah, I enjoy the satirical the satirical like pro-capitalism stuff. I loved that. I thought that was hilarious.
Wholesome and cursed. was
Wholesome
the
and
whole
cursed. Yep.
Yeah.
And that was, and I mean, if you haven't watched the Outer Level episode, that is, not Outer Level. Wow. If you
Secret
haven't
level.
watched the Secret Level Outer Worlds episode, you should, because it heard its assignment and it aced it. 100%, A+, no notes. Like,
Okay.
really hit that, like, man, I'm in love with this character because he seems like a nice guy, but he's also having his body chopped up to test products. Like, just a very good time. But Outer Worlds isn't easy too for me now, especially now that I've gotten to play it with like the expansions attached to it, like Apparel on Gorgon and whatnot. They're good. They're fun pieces of content. And after playing through Avowed, I'm stoked for the second game. I can't wait for Outer Worlds 2 because that means that we're going to get Avowed's engine and gameplay style, like smoothness.
It's gonna be really crazy. I think it's
in
gonna
Outer
really
Worlds.
work. I think I might end up enjoying Outer Worlds 2 more than I enjoyed Avowed, and I just think because
possible.
it's because of where I was coming from with Avowed. Like I was already immersed into the Pillars of Eternity universe, and I just having replayed Pillars of Eternity 1 recently, like I told you I was doing that. I had such a blast in that, replaying that. I'm halfway through the second one now, and I don't know how I have time to do all this, but I've been managing to get through it, and I miss that. I kind of wish it would have stayed as like
It's
a
a train.
RTS or a
it
CCR.
changed the genre is the thing. We've seen Outer Worlds in this genre, which means very little has to change in that
Exactly.
regard.
So
It just needs to improve.
I'm not fighting anything against it. Like you said, we're just waiting on the improvements.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. ChatGPT said Hogwarts Legacy. Now, dang, because I think
I do that too.
I have a 4, a 5, and a 2. So I'm gonna go.
I have a
I'm
4
ready.
and a 1 left.
I'm gonna put
I'd give
Hogwarts
it a
Legacy
2.
at a 3. And
I'm
not gonna lie. I enjoyed Hogwarts Legacy. I'm sorry, people. I know the flack and all that came behind the game. I completely understand that, and all of that to me was valid. What I will say though is that was the first game where I was perfectly fine with being a wizard or a magic person. I rarely ever make a magic character. But playing that game, I had so much fun picking up the barrels, spinning around, and just throwing it at somebody, turning people into magical barrels, and throwing them into other people. That was so cool. That was fun.
I will. Sorry, go ahead, PJ.
I enjoyed the Seven Deadly Curses. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
I bet. I
enjoyed
Just
it.
fucking
So
murdering people
for
was-
me being
was
that
wild.
too, I was great. It was great for me. I lived my Slytherin ways. I'm okay.
Yeah, I really did enjoy Hogwarts Legacy. I'm gonna say the same thing that when we brought up the Molyneux thing, sort of briefly. I don't think that we can go after games themselves after what certain people that were involved in their creation, or conceptually or directly, like the people that worked on the game are not your targets for this. The game itself is terrific. If you're a Harry Potter fan, Hogwarts Legacy is extremely role.
Yeah.
Like there are some secrets, there are some ancient secrets from the books that are in this game if you know where to look.
Yes.
And man, that is really rewarding as like a super Harry Potter nerd. My wife is the biggest Harry Potter nerd ever, but like she had a blast with it. I had a blast with it. I know I'm going to regret it because one is going to be another NBA game or some shit, but I'm going to put it at the 4 for me.
Okay.
Just because I can't put it over Outer Worlds. I liked Outer Worlds better.
I'm
But
confused.
I'm about to eat shit, I can tell.
I only got a 1 left, so.
I
Yeah.
got the one left as well.
Oh man, all right. So we're all gonna take this one.
Alrighty, I'm gonna look at
Alright.
the screen.
All right.
God of War Ragnarok. I think we're good.
it's solid.
I think we're good. I think we're good. God of War Ragnarok at number 1.
I'm good.
Listen, I'm fine with
God
that.
of War was good.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. I've never played any God of War game, but I will say,
You didn't
based on
play
what,
those ones?
no, I haven't played any of them, man. I just,
Oh, you would love those.
you know,
You
people
would
keep
love the God.
people keep telling me that, but it just has never grabbed my interest. I don't know what
I
it
have
is.
only one thing to say to that.
It's just,
Boy.
oh.
Boy.
Soundboard. I have a soundboard here in Twitch or in Discord.
Well, what was funny about it was when you did that, it popped up like a Swedish flag. I don't know.
I
That's
saw
a
that.
Greek-
Okay.
Greek flag.
All right.
Oh, it was a
Alright.
Greek flag. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because
Okay.
it
Okay.
was
I was like, why is that popping up? I need to get a
So-
soundboard.
God of War Ragnarok. It is one of the greatest games to ever touch the face of the earth.
I mean, it's on Steam. Maybe when it goes on sale, I'll check it out.
But like, so for me, I'm original Kratos fan more than this Kratos fan. Like original Kratos, Greek.
He was
you know,
younger.
You don't
Yeah.
like Daddy Kratos?
Boy.
Oh,
Boy.
Boy.
no, he's
He said he wants the black Kratos back.
look, he too ashy for me. He
He
needs
too
a bottle of
ashy
lotion.
now. He too
He needs a
ashy.
bottle of lotion, dog.
Put in
But-
the lotion, man. That's his family on him, man. That's his family.
I can't believe you're saying you want a black or Christopher Judge was the voice of this Kratos.
We know.
The man is beautiful. Did you watch Stargate SG-1?
Wait. That's him?
That's Teal'c. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to play it again. I'm gonna have to play it again
But
now.
but no, but
I didn't
but-
realize that was the same person. I thought it was,
Oh.
honestly.
but yeah,
Well, it's because at the Game Awards he had hair.
that's what it
And
was.
in SG-1 he's just completely bald, and the man looks like a god.
He really does.
but
He's a,
no,
he's a pretty man. I'd
He is a
hug him.
pretty guy.
That's no good.
I was more of a fan of the unfearful Kratos.
PJ, you have to say he was pretty. He's like, I'm not saying that.
Kratos will forever be a god in my eyes.
No, I feel that.
But I want him. I was more. This newer Kratos was more. I'm not gonna say scared.
He
But
was fucking
too-
tired, bro.
He was cautious. He was too cautious.
Bro, he had left an entire world because he was sick of killing its fucking deities.
That's
He
true.
didn't
Man was
kill them all.
tired. He wanted a nap. Like,
And then
he
got
wanted to
woken up.
sleep.
And now I gotta kill more gods.
You
He's gotta kill
you
more
remember-
deities.
You remember Star Trek Into Darkness when Khan fucking crushes
Mm-hmm.
the guy's head and he says, "You should have let me sleep"? That's the same fucking thing. Kratos is just tired. He's salty as hell. He's coming from one of the touchiest weirdest, god rapiest cultures ever. The man goes into the Norse lands, which I can sympathize with. I went to South Dakota after living in New York. That is a cold change. The man went bitter. He had a kid, and he stopped. He stopped caring.
Hey, look, I ain't gonna lie.
He said, I can sympathize. I went to South Dakota after New York.
It's just the Northlands up there, man. It's all
I ain't
Norwegians.
gonna lie. That is a similar change in events. I'm not gonna lie.
God, it's funny because it's so perfect.
literally
You can
is.
totally. I left the hustle and bustle to the nothing.
Yeah, no, for real. So here's the thing, right? And this is why.
No offense to those who are in South Dakota. I just couldn't tell you.
Dude, I got friends from South Dakota watching this. They can fight me. They know they can.
Okay,
I lived there for 7 years. We can fight. It's all right. I don't mind. I know the rules.
Good old
of
Sioux Falls.
Yeah, I know the dueling laws.
Sioux
of
Falls, South Dakota.
Yeah. No, so
all those stories.
the only downside to I've told you plenty. The only downsides to God of War Ragnarok for me at the time was I had just gotten done pushing through Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I was so fucking over Norse mythology. I was done. I didn't want any more. And for that exact tangential reason, that is why Skyrim is not my favorite Elder Scrolls game, is because that came out when I was living in South Dakota, which means a game about walking through the wilderness of South Dakota came out while I was living in South Dakota. And all of a sudden, all these white people suddenly decided they discovered heritage. I had friends and neighbors that were brewing mead, that were going to bars, drinking a Bud Light, saying "Skull." Don't act like they're like, oh yeah, like my family raped and pillaged Bumple-Dumpleshire back in 1527. And I'm like, this is not a heritage. This is not a point of heritage for you. You literally just played Skyrim and decided, hey, I want to look up Vikings. They would buy drinking horns off Amazon. And then
my God.
Axe throwing places popped up everywhere in Sioux Falls. Dude, no, I don't it was like an entire state destroyed.
Where the hell did all these Nords come from?
Yeah, exactly.
Just for them, I'm joining the Empire.
Basically, yeah. I was sick of it.
Come here, General Tullius. We got some Nords to slay.
Yeah, it was just it was the most relatable thing for all of my friends in South Dakota.
Oh, man.
I'm like, no, I was Oblivion was at least a fantasy world. This is just, it's South Dakota with actual mountains, and I hate it. I couldn't stand the environment. I probably love the gameplay in every other environment, but my God, I never want to go back to Skyrim.
For that exact same reason that you just listed, you didn't like Skyrim and all that's not your favorite. That's the same That's the same way I feel about not God of War, but same way I feel about Assassin's Creed. The one with all the Vikings too. That was the same way I felt about that one. I thought the mechanics were cool. I thought the fighting was good, but I'm like, it's not that enticing to me. I just don't really care that much about Vikings anymore.
Well, no, I mean, so that's interesting too. So not only the Viking thing, but the English countryside is notoriously just forests and rivers, which is it's gorgeous at first, but it gets dry pretty quick. You don't really want to see a whole lot.
I want to see some more biomes.
Something to consider there with that though is so when was it Far Cry 5 that was set in Montana?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. When that came out, my first instinct, I was like, why the hell would I want to go to the mountains of Montana? To fight religious cultists. This is there are so many places in the United States. I was just in Indonesia. Why? This is not exotic at all. But then I saw some comments saying that, and then there were a couple people from the UK that were like, well, I've never seen a grizzly bear.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I was sitting there, I'm like, to people from Indonesia or, anywhere that they don't know the weird, creepy, brother, sister, cousin vibes of the Montana wilderness. So maybe this is what they want, It's Red Dead Redemption is a huge game for people overseas.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge game for people here. Shoot. I didn't. And speaking of Red Dead Redemption, if you also like fictional, post-Civil War era media sources, definitely check out my book, Rock Salt, Strange Encounters. It's available on the TikTok shop, and if you're not on TikTok, it's also available on Amazon. If you just type in William Amir Stevens, it will pop up. Also, I have the second book. Wait, that's not the second book. Also, I have the second book right here, Rock Salt, The Warlock's Reckoning. It's an amazing read. If you like all that cowboy stuff, you get it all here, and you get magic on top of it.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna have a lawyer give me 10% of every sale you make. Advertising yourself here.
That's perfectly fine by me, buddy. This is a community project. I want the community to eat. But anyway, I don't got too much time left, man. Y'all got any closing words you want to give?
I need you to poke the cat, man. He's sitting there looking all charming. I need you to give him some attention real quick.
Oh, okay.
And with that being said, also,
Poke that man. Look at him
based
go.
off their last couple of comments, for those of anybody who want to think about the USA and coming to the USA, we are weird. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you are not willing to deal with.
Come some other time.
Forgive us.
I've heard
But we not know
2029
what we
is
do.
great that time. 2029 is great that time of year. Give it a minute. Oh man,
Yeah,
look at him.
but
Oh,
2029,
look at that face.
2029, that'd be your best time.
Yeah, I don't know. You could come visit. One thing, my brother-in-law, right? He's from the UK, and one thing that he says about visiting the United States is that he's always struck by the fact that a lot of people in Europe don't realize that each state is like a different country.
Yep.
They think that like the United States is just one big country, and I guess technically it is, but like the states are treated very similar to the way the countries are in the UK. So like you can take a train to like several different countries in a matter of hours, right? Which I've done in the UK, and it's terrific, and I prefer it. But like the difference between like South Dakota and New York is incredible.
Yeah.
The difference between Pennsylvania and Florida, like they're like Texas and Maryland, like there's a massive difference between states. Some are worse than others. We're not going to say that because we don't have an audience big enough to alienate just yet, but we'll get there.
But when we do, some of you
When we
states.
When we do,
I
remember
have
that
a lot
Amir
to
lives
say
in
about
Florida.
a few states.
Listen, you can
When
say.
we do, remember that Amir lives in Florida,
Listen.
and we live in Texas, so we don't have a whole lot of room to talk.
All I'm gonna say
Oh,
is,
yes, we do. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes,
That's
we
true.
do.
As long as Oklahoma exists, we'll always have something to do.
and maybe Nebraska, because I don't know what happens in Nebraska. So
And
Nebraska's
I
all right.
have another question. What is a Maine?
what is a Maine?
What is
Like-
Maine?
I hear there's a breed of cat that comes from Maine.
Maine Coon. Oh God. Oh God.
I feel you. But listen, I didn't believe South Dakota was a place until Delta went there. So
I didn't believe South Dakota was a place until I left there.
Still don't know what Wyoming is.
he was like the whole place was a fever dream. I'm not convinced I wasn't in a coma.
I'm
Dude,
still
no, I
trying to
met
figure
my
out
wife in high
about
school. Like, the
Wyoming.
hottest thing I could find, and I left.
Why does it exist?
I don't know why we have two different Dakotas. I don't know why we have two different Virginias. I don't know why Texas is one state. It's huge, and nothing about it is. Have you been to Austin?
Yeah.
Have you looked at the rest of Texas? What the
Yes.
hell is Austin in comparison to Texas? It makes no damn sense.
I have things I could say about Austin, but we gonna
We'll
leave
wait
that
until
alone.
we're not streaming. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's just like Dallas and Houston. It's two separate vibes.
No, I feel that.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel about some areas in Florida, right? Like even like for example, my buddy Jordan stays in Jacksonville. I honestly don't really enjoy Jacksonville that much at all. I don't know why. It feels vastly different than any other place to me in Florida. I can go all the way down to Miami and I'm getting like a cool tropical vibe. I'm getting pretty waters on the beach and everything. But you go to Jacksonville and the water's all dirty and
I mean,
I mean,
Galveston.
like the Gulf-
That's Galveston
the Gulf-
for us.
yeah.
The Gulf beaches are disgusting. for
Yeah.
Texas.
But
Yeah.
There are like oil deposits on some of the beaches, and I didn't
Yes.
realize it. I thought it was a piece of beach glass because of how like clear it was. Or not clear, but just like it was still right. And I went to pick it up, and my fingers went in, and it was oil, and my fingers were dirty for like 2 straight days. I put like
Yeah.
Dawn dish soap on that shit. Now I feel even worse seeing the volunteer videos of people washing animals with Dawn soap. Like, holy shit, that stuff just stays, and it's on the public beaches. Like,
That's
and
crazy.
the water is like the water is brackish and gray and
No.
super nasty. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
If it looks like the Braca frame is gonna come out of the lagoon, then I don't want to
Look,
be
bro.
there. But anyway, y'all, we do gotta close because I'm about to pass out. I gotta take me a nap. But I just want to say, hey, thank you for coming back to us, Delta. We missed you, buddy, man. It's good. Real quick fit check. We got the South Park shirt on right here. We got a Dallas Heat basketball shirt, and we got Frankie Super. All right, y'all, from Spawn Point Sessions from the fictional anime and gaming channel, we is out. Thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for tuning in on TikTok. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. We will have this episode up, not this coming weekend, but the next weekend. You can catch it unedited, though, if you're already here, but I will be removing it pretty soon after today. So if you don't watch today, you won't be able to see it until we edit through it. See y'all next time.
See ya.
Man, okay, we are off on
We are off
TikTok.
on mine.